Anything to say? William Bond. I think everybody knows. Yeah. It's one of the Greek fleas or whatever. Somebody
I know you. I know you, but I don't want to go to record.
Okay. But that was one point that all the things said, you know, I agree with you, but there was one point that she brought out right then that I want to elaborate on it. You know, go back to the time, because the sale of it really is where you lost control. And what brought that on, I don't know. But what I'm saying, it did cost us $1 million. And there was other things that I initiated. Miss Steph was here along that time. Somewhere in that move, I had the company that I worked with to do the engineering on it. And Mr. Roddy said, William, I got a new engineer. He's the #1 man. I got nothing for him to do, but I hired him because I'm working in my operation somewhere. Take him with you, and he'll do your whole work. About halfway doing the drawing of all the plans, and somehow the board turned, no, we're going to pay for it. We're not going to accept that. I offered to give the county the land to put the landfill on. We started that. No, we're not going to do that. So we went in and invested money in this thing from the start. And I go back to the actual construction. You're correct when you're talking about a 1 mil liner. That's no protection. That's just a game even state. You take 2 garbage bags and lay them on top of each other. Just roll them out, lay them on top of each other. One side is 1 mil, other side is 1 mil, third side is 1 mil, fourth side is 1 mil. And so you got a 4 mil thickness there. That's all 4 mil line, and that's all EPA requires. Really, they're talking about just dumping it in a hole. We took extra protection when we built the first. And until they sold it, we were still in it. And the clays that she's mentioning, that's why I got to clarify some things. Kaolin is not one of the type clays. However, the type clays that you can use to reinforce that thing or available in Twiggs County. They are of the Ike family of minerals, sepalite, heterite, or other type material. Those stuff you commonly refer to as gumbo. You know, those stuff sticks on your feet. What it does in a solid form, it'll hold up to 15–20% moisture. And once it gets to that point, it locks itself down. You try to get that stuff off your feet or off your vehicle. So what it does, it offers you that. That landfill has that there. We caught the sepalite. That's what was there. We caught the sepalite naturally. We got a 4-foot bed under that. And we dug into that bed about, I think it was 3 feet. But anyway, we have core samples here. And then when we first laid it out, after pushing the edges and got the depth, then we went out from the landfill this way. And that put that material, but any liquid would bleed that. You don't have a problem with liquid to what you have. But I'm going to tell you, when you sold it, you lost your control. Because the EPA or the people who are going to be looking after it, those companies are going to do the minor, they're going to do the least they have to do. If you're not there every day watching him, you can just hang it up. You can just hang it up. I mean, it's not going to be done properly. And once it begins to leak, that's it. And you only have 2 landfills in the southeast that can take hazardous waste. And when the little lady was talking about when the doctor takes his gloves off, those gloves got to be disposed of. When you take barium enums, which is radioactive, you check for colon cancer. All these things are active materials. They have to be disposed of. And you don't dispose of those with no 29 or 75 or 500 bucks a ton. You only have 2 landfills in the southeast that can take it. The one that's in Lakeland, Florida, and the other one's in Birmingham, Alabama.
That's right. Yes, it is.
Only 2. But I'm going to say this. Your first one there will take it. The first one we laid out with no problem. I'm confident of that. We worked on that for 2 or 3 years. And I'm going to tell you, if somebody drilled that thing and found out that it's coming, you're talking about money then. So my point is, this interstate commerce doesn't even apply to this subject. This is something legal mumbo they're throwing out. Interstate commerce relates to states regulating, just like the insurance companies are regulating all the insurance companies going to be out of Connecticut. Yeah, we don't control that end of the ball. And it's done all the time. That's the case. This interstate commerce is just something to throw you off. So you're going to catch, it's going to be very hard for you to stop them coming in. I'm just being realistic. But what you can do, you can do it with P&Z. It's a little old trick to that. You can control to the standard that thing is built. Then you're going to get in a fight with EPA. And they're going to say, well, the standards are too high. They can go somewhere else. These are our standards. But if you bought that landfill for $1 million, I don't know what the pressure is going to come here to put on the board of planning and zoning to do it. The whole thing was, here's what that gets me to looking into this area. What's going on? Some of what all of what Tom is saying, it got a whole lot of truth in it. Because there was an attorney from Warner Robins. First name was William. Right now I can't think of his second name. But we had several phone conversations, conversation by phone. And one day he came over. The price then that they were offering was $20 million. And that was back, I left the board in 2000. So that was somewhere in the 90s or the late 80s after we had built the thing. And I was putting them off because there wasn't no way that I was going through a sale. If I knew what it meant, you're going to lose your control. And it got up to that, and then he came, I said, well, look, what if we sell our thing? We still got to run our program. He said, no. Came back with his last offer. We'll pick up your garbage, we'll maintain your dump sites, we have in the district, and we'll deliver it to the landfill, we'll pay it. $20 million. That's what that offer was. He said, I got 2 for it, 2 against it. You be the third man. I said, you can leave here on that occasion because I'm never going to do that. Because if I did, it couldn't stay in Twiggs County. Not after that, years back when they were trying to bring garbage in here from Atlanta. So I'm not about to go through all that. And we did do it, you lose control. You see, this is you chasing the horse after the barn door is open. But there are some things, especially you guys can do. And that is put restrictions on how it's built. And you might back them up and being all that interested in. But once it gets into that water, aquifer, it's an underground river. It builds its own pressure. With one place we put down a well, I can show you now, there's no pump in it. Just a case in there. And they put a top on it, put a faucet on it, keeps from just blowing water all the time. Underground pressure. We lost a drag line in 36 mine. 3 o'clock one morning, the operator, he took the bags here. He called his brother who worked there. The guy, John Brown, lives right down the road. He called him and says, called his brother and said, this is John, I'm gone. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning, but he didn't use correct procedures. And after about an hour, I figured there's something going on over there. So I called the superintendent of the mining group, because I didn't work in the mine. And that thing, water come up, busted the footing and washed out the pin under the drag line. You know how tall the boom is. I think it's 600 feet into the step, something like that. You can see the top of it booming. You can see the machine at all. So he was just lucky, and he was operated by electricity. But he was able to get out of that thing. And to move that drag line, we got 6 people. No, not 6 people. We drilled 6 wells at one end, and I think 4 more at the other end. And they run those wells 24 hours a day for weeks to pump the water down in order to get the machine out. That's in 36 miles, about 5 miles from my house. But this whole area is under that. It's underground, aquifer. But I go back to this and that, I'm going to sit in because we are going to tax time. If you could put the focus on the stay with the sepalites and those type materials, and I'd say the cores are here. You guys might all let Miss Depps knows all what I'm talking about. And let them put that protection here. Those materials are located here. And another thing as far as the radiation, they're going to sit out. You know your color TV sets, these materials, they block radiation. You know, if you read the guide real close, you're not supposed to watch color TV within 12 feet. But my God, who does that? I got 2 in the bedroom. I watch them all night and you sleep all day. But especially color TV, that material, some of it, and it's mine down here in Douglasville, Georgia. I don't know anywhere in the United States it's mine other than Douglasville, a small town down there. The mayor had him a big spiel on 60 Minutes, you know, that ran his whole time. And that material goes in that screen. Now, I don't know what they're using in the flat screen TV, but I know that old types told them they use that material. And it retards radiation to a certain extent. But you know how radiation is that you only know the 14,000 years the half-life calculated from the front. Really, you don't know what the life of these different materials are. You're talking about years and years they do damage. And as far as giving people cancers and all this sort of thing, they're things they're just really getting on top of to determine some of this leakage out of the milk jug. Giving radiation, and especially to pregnant women who have male children. It's really causing damage.